Have you ever embarked on an adventure that completely changed your life? For me, that journey began when I met this little guy right here. This is my rescue goldfish, and it's not just any fish, it's a survivor, a symbol of hope. Today I'm taking you along on my personal freshwater fish keeping adventure, and just to be clear, I'm no expert, I'm learning as I go, just like many of us. In this world of perfection where deformity isn't always accepted, I wanted to give this deformed fish a life just like the other fish that were considered perfect. We're diving deep into the world of fish keeping, unveiling surprising facts and showing you how to create a home that any rescue goldfish would dream of. So are you ready to join me on this aquatic adventure? Hello and thank you for joining me on the Fishkeeper Life channel. I have created this channel to share my fish, my goldfish that I brought because nobody else wanted him. You may have seen my intro where I explained why he's different. You'll notice he's got a bit of deformity on the back of his fin, and a lot of people are passing him by in the aquatic pet store. I heard a few people say, oh, I don't want that fish, get me a different one. I heard two people say that, and then I came over to the tank and I noticed that he had a bit of deformity. So while at the pet store, as always, I picked up an Israeli koi. You can't resist. I was there actually to pick up pet food, but I picked up that and I picked up this fish. So in today's episode, I'm going to be showing you how I set up the aquarium for him, what I did, and this will help you kind of understand how you can rescue fish that nobody else wanted. He was getting bullied in the fish tank. You'll notice some of his scales are discolored, so other fishes were pecking at him. And I don't think that should be the case. Just because he's deformed, I don't know what the correct term would be. He's still a beautiful fish. He acts like a normal fish. He can swim around. He eats well. He's had a nice feeding. And yeah, I want you to follow me on the journey. Let's see how he progresses through this life. When it comes to buying an aquarium, you want to find a good aquarium. Normally you can buy a new aquarium, which can be very expensive. However, there's always people in the hobby who are upgrading or selling their old tank. So for example, I moved from a 1 foot to a 2 foot to a 3 foot to a 4 foot in terms of length. And as you do the upgrade, most people tend to sell their old aquariums. So it's worth considering that as an option, as it will be a little bit cheaper for you. There was a little bit of an issue because I looked on Facebook. Out of 10 people advertising aquarium tanks within the last 24 hours, when you send them a message, no one seems to be selling. So it's very difficult, or either they've had interest or they've been bombarded by a lot of people. But I found out of 10 people, maybe one person replied. In the end, I ended up going on to eBay, having a look at close to me distance fish tanks, aquariums available. Found this beautiful 4 foot aquarium, which then needed a little bit of work, which I'm going to show you in this video. And that allowed me to work on this and make it how I want it for my fish. So you'll see he looks beautiful. He's had a nice little feed. He's doing nicely. I like the deep color of him. And also you'll notice I've got a few other companions in the aquarium just to keep him intrigued and interested, which is always good to have friends. Don't overpack your aquarium. We'll talk about what that means. As I'm doing it, I've learned little tricks and tips which you'll find helpful. When it comes to the size of the aquarium or fish tank that you're looking for, it's quite tricky. There's a lot of fish tanks out there. I purposely chose the biggest one that I could fit comfortably in my location, which happens to be 55 gallons in the US, about 50 gallons in the UK, because there's a slight difference in how we work our gallons out. It's 300 litres, so that's a measurement. I'll put up on screen maybe how much the difference is in each country. But before we go any further, let's check in on our hero. How is he getting on? So you'll notice right now he's swimming around nicely. Goldfish are very inquisitive creatures, and they like to investigate their surroundings. So they're always picking up. I've got a sand substrate here, and he looks like he's doing very nicely. He's had a nice feed. He's eaten correctly. He's pooping, which you can normally see as a black little string from the back. He's not very skittish. He's not scary. You can see here, he's very intrigued. The scales are slowly filling out. All he needs is a bit of tender loving care. We spend a bit of time with him, let him relax. Good water conditions will hopefully get him to his pristine condition. If you're liking the video so far, it'd be great if you can like the video and subscribe to the channel. So let me rewind and take you on my journey. Again, I mentioned I searched on Facebook, did not have much luck. eBay was a better place. Located what I wanted, purchased it, and it was available for pickup straight away. Got my car, put my seats down. It's a 4-foot aquarium, about 120 centimeters. I know my seats down on the back of my car will allow me to get that. So let's get into gear and go and pick up this aquarium. So it's a glass aquarium. It comes with a base and its lid and light. So I was actually quite lucky that I got a number of things. Where am I keeping this? The first aim is to make sure the aquarium you're buying, even if it's new, is it watertight? Is it going to leak on you after a day or a couple of hours? What I did in my garage, I have an uneven surface, so it's a slabbed location. With the car sitting there over years, you know, normally one of the sides sinks. So what I've done is I was able to use some scrap pieces of wood, because remember, when an aquarium has water in there, we want it to be level, so it doesn't look the water doesn't look slanted or uneven in there, and also the fish will swim a little bit funny if it's in relation to the tank. So what I'm doing here is, this is a block of woods, and this is an extra base unit. Why am I using this? So the base unit will allow me to create a stable platform which is equally supported with lots of little woods on the bottom of it, and that means when I put my aquarium stand on this, it's got a nice firm surface which is level, and it will distribute the water equally. Because imagine having 50 gallons of water. What is that? So 50 gallons is quite a lot of water, isn't it? That would be somewhere in the region of 300 liters. So that's what, 300 kilograms, maybe, if 1 liter is a kilogram, roughly. So 300 kilograms is like nearly half a ton, because that's 500 kilograms, if I'm doing my maths right. But yeah, what I did is I spent a little bit of time putting lots of little odd bits of wood and offcuts under this, just to make sure that it's going to be level. And you'll notice when you get one side level, the other side gets a little bit uneven. So using a spirit level of this kind will help you a lot, because you can use the bubble, and that'll give you an idea how straight it is. So when buying the fish tank, remember, do your research, see how big of a tank you can fit in your location, and find a suitable location. This is what I'm doing here. So firstly, I'm putting it here to see what it does. And remember, the tank size determines how many fish you can keep. My goldfish, hopefully, as we're rescuing him and giving him the best possible home possible, 300 liters would be more than adequate just for him. But we're going to also have a few tank mates to keep him happy. And also remember, having a bigger tank means you need to have better equipment, so like filters and all those little extra bits like the maintenance, changing the water, the food. All these little things will help you keep your aquarium safe. So this process, I spent my time on this just to make sure that I got it fully level, because if you get it 100% level, then you're going to have a lot easier setup. So I got the glass tank, and this here is the stand that came with the aquarium. It's like a cabinet, and I placed that on my platform that I made. It was perfectly level, which is excellent, which means there's no hot spots or strain on the cabinet, so the doors will open correctly because the water on top won't be an issue. I wiped off the cabinet with a towel just to make sure there's no stones or any pieces left over, or grit just that could cause my aquarium to break. Ideally, under the aquarium, you want to put like a foam, you know, like you do yoga, that mat you get. If you have some of that foam, you can put that under your aquarium. That gets rid of any inaccuracies and also levels out the aquarium. That's a good way to go. It also acts like a bit of insulation if you're going to be using heaters in your aquarium, which I'm not going to be using. What I did in the bottom mines is I put a towel just to act for a place to, well, stabilize the tank, as we're just doing the water test at the moment. I got a long 4-foot light, LED light, put that on the back of the aquarium just to give you a better view as I do this. And these are all little things that you don't think about, because think about it, if you buy a fish tank, most of the time you get the fish tank. Then you have to buy the stand, then the lid, then the light, and slowly things mount up. So I might put let me know in the comments if you want me to put together a list of things that I brought, and then I can just make that available to you, like a a check sheet of things I bought, like for example finding the aquarium, getting the stand, getting the light. I just putting things down so you can roughly tot up how much it would end up costing you, because it can get quite expensive. So what I did at this point is I just time-lapsed putting water in. This water is from the tap. So remember, there's another thing on your list, dechlorination. So tap water in the UK has chlorine just to kill off any bacteria for our drinking water. But ideally for the fish, we want a bit of bacteria that helps them. So that's the first setup. We've got water in the tank. We're going to leave it for 24 hours and see how well it does. Will it hold the water? So we were able to set up an aquarium. We were able to level it out on uneven surface in the garage where we put the water. We acclimatized our goldfish, but in the next episode we're going to be cleaning out the gravel substrate, getting it ready for the aquarium. We're going to be putting it into the aquarium. What are the best options for that? We're going to discuss that, as well as why I used rainwater in the aquarium. We're going to fill it back up after the water change, and how we're getting it instantly ready for fish without having to cycle the tank. We're going to have another episode showing you all of that, so make sure you subscribe so you get a notification if you're not already subscribed, and I'll see you in the next episode. You should come up on screen now.